done that before. The second move in January 28th, right now, January 21st, butts against the state convention in Madison. It's also Martin Luther King Day, so I think that's considered a holiday. And I thought it'd be a good idea that we recognize that and postpone our meeting for a week. But that one is up for discussion with the board, so.
Since it's a long ways from now, it sounds good.
Okay, that's reasoning why I had to move those two meetings. So, but I'm open for discussion. If it seems reasonable, then I guess I would entertain a motion to adopt the schedule as presented.
So moved.
Second.
A motion Kirk, second David, to adopt the meeting schedule for 2018-19 school year. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. The next item on the agenda is extracurricular assignments review for the 2018-19 school year.
Howard, before we do that, can we just make sure that we already note for that December 10th meeting, we'll need to have that override for Scott to approve bills, because it won't be all in for the 10th.
And then now that they're approved, double check
Twice,
with
but
the activities schedule to make sure we don't have concerts and such on
I
the
think,
same nights.
yeah, I think they took that into account. Typically, those are that third week.
I mean, all year, just to double check.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So. Okay.
Okay, sorry, but thank you.
Okay. Okay, extracurricular activities review. So where are we at there?
As far as
Assignments,
Just in
are we looking at?
No, the new, adding the new, this is where we're adding the new positions, proposed positions to next year. Any changes to that model?
I think the only changes we discussed was the destination imagination, if we were gonna add that as coaches on that pay scale. Currently, we looked at if we're gonna continue the robotics program. Garrett's not able to do that, but there are funds available if somebody's gonna pick it up. We could leave that open. For one of the new science teachers, I think we discussed the middle school STEM position. I guess we haven't talked about that, if that's gonna be a go or not. We did solve some things at the elementary with the student council stuff. Yearbook, we have to find a different way to do yearbook at high school. Mr. Howe is not gonna continue doing that, so we have to find a different coach.
And we're meeting next week with Mr. Hogg and Mr. Reimer to figure something out.
So whether we have to outsource it or somebody else picks it up. As far as the activities pay model, those are the only other additions. Besides, I think we filled it in completely as far as first and second phase.
Okay, I guess the destination imagination coach, what are we looking at, funds? Are those funds available, I guess would be the next question. And where does that put us in our overall strategic plan?
What are we looking at for costs, Jason, on those coaches and how many?
I have no idea, we just got the presentation tonight, so I think discussion.
Is this something we should table?
I think so. The only for sure thing would be we do not have a middle school yearbook position. We have a high school one. We do not have one for the middle school, and that would be under the mentor, the 1.5, which is $600.
Okay.
One other thing to consider with DI is that the premise of DI is having parent volunteers. So the thought process is maybe just having one person and take it on, and that person's role would be to set up. You know, I don't know if we want one at the middle school and one at the elementary, or we have to decide whether we have one that facilitates both at the middle school and elementary, but the premise of DI is having parent volunteers leading the student groups, is trying to keep that creativity and
So we might need a coordinator.
that spontaneous, right? So that might be the direction we wanna head.
Okay. Well, I guess at this point, I think we need to get a better handle on what we're looking at here before we adopt anything.
Yeah, with the addition of DI, it would be, we just have to discuss where it would fit, so we don't come back like 5 more times to add different things, but.
Okay. Let's see if we can get that worked out then, and we'll bring it back. Okay. This time then we will table that discussion.
So, Jason, what are we doing with, boys basketball? Because I've heard like, we're not going to do a JV2 team next year, is that
Correct.
a decision now?
Correct.
So we had 4 coaches last year, I think it was, in boys basketball paid positions.
Correct.
Does that change with JV2 going out, or is it still 4 coaches over 3 teams?
That's something we haven't discussed as an admin team, I guess, on where that goes. My assessment of the JV2 program was that the financial, I guess that gets into athletic budgets. The financials that go along with running or supporting that level was not, we could use that money to impact more athletes or more programs spread across different sports per se.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, I think we'd have to discuss it a little bit more.
Okay.
But
Okay. Then let's do that and we'll bring it back when we're ready. Okay, moving on to the next item is consideration of the reading, second reading of board policies, starting with policy 365, response to intervention. I think there was just one edit in that policy, just striking or adding the S, designee or designees. So, I guess I would entertain a motion, adopted if there aren't any objections to that.
So moved.
Okay, I got a motion, David, second Scott, to adopt policy 365, response to intervention. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the policy signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next policy is 351, or 751, student transportation services. We also have policy of bus routing, scheduling 751.1. There were no changes in either one of these policies.
Make a motion to accept both of them, 751 and 751.1 as presented.
Second.
We have motion David, second John, to adopt policy 751 and policy 751.1 as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next one is policy 751.2 with regards to the bus safety program. Okay, with that, we had a strikeout of and bus drivers in paragraph 2 and the addition of, as well as the rules and regulations concerning bus safety added to paragraph 4.
Just grammatical in that second paragraph, if you're removing that third reference, it should be students and parents/guardians instead of a comma, but that's all.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Anything else with regards to that?
Move approval with change noted.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, Scott, second David, to adopt 751.2 bus safety program, with the modifications noted. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the policy signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is policy 363.2, internet safety and acceptable use.
So I took your suggested edits, met with Dan and Chad. They in turn took that feedback and made the highlighted changes.
Okay. We have, we've struck smooth operation and changed it to the operation of the district's technology.
And the rules were, I don't remember how you phrased it, but they all ended in ing, or, you know, it's just formatting with the
Yeah.
action verbs, I believe,
Agreement.
that whole section.
Thank you.
Okay. Then we had, the acceptable, use agreement. We had, signed this internet safety and acceptable use policy. And then finally, the paragraph, parent and guardian, permission. We struck computer, network, and just referred to it as network at St. Croix Central. And then I understand that this form will be kept on file at the school. Will be valid authorization for my child until their graduation, regardless if there are updates and or changes to this policy. Then we redid the staff permission paragraph, so. Questions or comments there?
Move to accept with changes noted.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, John, second David, to adopt the policy with the changes noted. Any further discussion? All those,
Regardless if there are updates or changes to this policy, should be more specific to updates and changes is, I don't know the language offhand what I want, but, signing this will, it's assuming that all changes will be, signed for, you know, that the signature. It doesn't really read that way.
So instead of regardless, will be valid authorization for my child until their graduation, including updates and or changes to this policy?
Yes.
Which includes updates, changes, to this policies. So get rid, strike regardless if there are, and just insert including.
Including any and all updates and or changes to this policy. Or any updates and or changes to this policy.
okay,
Until their graduation, including any updates and or changes to this policy.
okay. With that, then we would need
From the amendment, I'll let revise to include the changes Scott noted as well.
okay. You agreeable, David?
Yep.
Okay. Then, with the motion on the floor to adopt the policy with changes noted, any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, other business. Do we have any other business at this time?
Want to mention, that we are in the process of, working on a new app for our school district, actual app, parents, our community and staff, anyone having their phone. Where we're able to be more proactive and timely updates. We have like live feeds, it'll replace Blackboard Connect, I can cancel school from the phone, it'll go on the website, it'll go to Facebook, it'll go to Twitter, and send notifications, so it's kind of a one-stop shop, but, with that, we are migrating the old website, because the new website would have to be compatible with that. And we're in the process of that, and one of the things that came of that, is just updating board picture. You know, you need an updated board picture, so.
Give me 6 months.
I know Howard's gone June 4th. Is everyone gonna be here on June 18th? Are they aware? We'd like to get a picture.
Really trying to catch all of us at Robert's Good Neighbor Days.
With or
Post
without the
that?
beer cans.
We have to post that, notice. So, we will, maybe as we get closer to the date, send out a reminder or inquiry.
I'll be here the 18th and before, so it doesn't matter to me.
And to dress, so knowing that that picture could be on there for the next 3 to 30 years. Because the old one, if you, old picture is
I saw it today.
fairly old.
John had hair.
Scott had teeth. Can I just submit my headshot to you?
Well, might have to,
No?
we'll see. We
Just-
might have to do it that way.
Okay. Okay, with that,
So you wanna do that on the 18th, you're thinking?
Prefer to.
okay, is there any other business? The only other business, and, I've already mentioned it, Kirk, you're gonna be in charge of the meeting on the 4th. Okay. Okay. I'll try not to stack it up.
We have the
No
table.
promises.
We have the
Table,
table. It's
table,
okay.
table.
I've been practicing talking really fast,
Says
Just
he
in
does too.
case. just in case.
Okay, is there anything else that we need to cover under others? Okay, hearing none, review of the important dates, we have graduation this Friday, May 25th, 7:30 at the Tom Semp High School. June 4th is the special board learning meeting here at 6:30. That's also the annual meeting for CISA 11, so I'll be attending that. June 18th, regular school board meeting here at 7 p.m. on June 18th. So are there any other dates that I failed to mention? Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session per Wisconsin State Statute 1985 1F, considering financial, medical, social, or personal histories or disciplinary data of specific persons, preliminary consideration of specific personnel problems, or investigation of charges against which specific persons, except where paragraph B applies, which, if discussed in public, would likely have a substantial adverse effect upon the reputation of any person referred to in such histories or personal or data, or involved in such problems or investigations. This has to do with our open enrollment applications.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I got David. John, second. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We need a break at all?
No, let's keep going.
Okay, then we will move right into it. Okay, open enrollment applications. So,
So if they're all here at the start, everyone
Watch
have to
your
stay,
head.
right? If they didn't get out in time, they have to stay.
Just wait,